I think we lost him. We're going to go to another caller, and hopefully he'll call back in. Sir, if you're listening, I don't know what happened. Maybe you were on a cell phone, but we did lose you. Please call back in. Let's go to our next caller, Doris, down in Chesapeake.
Yeah, Doris Leon Williams, yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Why, the big deal. I'm fine. How are you today?
I'm doing good, sir. Thanks for calling in.
I live up in Lawrence County, little Chesapeake. You know where it is, I'm sure. Yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, on the Social Security and the Medicare bill, why is it that, that it's such a big deal when they say it's secure for another 15 to 20 years, isn't it? Is that right or wrong?
I'm sorry, say that again.
I say, why is it such a big deal that we fix something that's not broke yet?
Well, it is broke. Here's the problem with Medicare. The problem with Medicare is that we've got 10,000 new baby boomers that are coming onto the Medicare rolls every single day. By 2024, Medicare is going to go broke because it is not able to handle that increased workload and patient load. Remember that in 1960, when Medicare was just a young program, the average household was spending about $520 for health care annually. Today, that cost exceeds $25,000. Healthcare costs have gone up. We've got more people on the Medicare rolls, with 10,000 new ones coming in every single day. We've got 1 out of 8 doctors that are already refusing to accept new Medicare patients. And so we've got some real issues with Medicare. But I want to make sure that you understand, sir, that my position is, and what I'm fighting for, is to make sure that current seniors, those that are 55 years of age and older, see no change to their fully funded Medicare benefits. I was appalled that the President of the United States in his health care law cut $500 billion out of Medicare. $200 billion of that came out of Medicare Advantage, which hurt about 35 to 36,000 people all along the Ohio River. So it's not something that we can wait another 15 years to try and fix, because by the time it goes broke, we won't have a chance then to repair it or to make it, to strengthen it and protect that vital safety net program so that future generations have something there for them too. Hey, let me read you the results of our first question. Thank you for giving me the feedback. About 55% of you said that this is the first time that you've ever participated in one of these calls. So I really appreciate you being on the call today, and I thank you for that. Here's another question for you. If you are enrolled in Medicare Advantage, please press 1 for yes, press 2 for no. If you are enrolled in Medicare Advantage, press 1 for yes, press 2 for no. This is Congressman Bill Johnson, and I'm glad you're on the call today. If you want to ask a question, press 0, and it'll get you into the question queue. We're going to go down to Coolville and talk to Eddie Murray. Hi, Eddie.
Hello, Bill.
How are you, sir?
Okay. A little bit upset with the administration, but other than that, I'm okay health-wise. I'm only 81.
Oh, you're just a youngster, Eddie.
Right, yeah. My question is, I told the lady that I'm a retired military pilot and also a civilian pilot, and my age got me back there when I turned 60, and I got grounded like all the airline pilots do. But the question is, what can be done to control the president flying, joyriding around in an airplane that costs $3,700 per flying hour, and flying all over the world and just living it up while he's in office, taking advantage of the taxpayers' dollars? We're taxpayers.
Well, you know, Eddie, I think that's a great question. First of all, thank you for your service. I don't know what you flew in the military. I spent nearly 27 years in the Air Force. I have tremendous respect for our nation's veterans. We're one of the only nations on the planet where our young people volunteer to go and potentially pay the ultimate sacrifice of their lives for the cause of freedom around the world, and to protect the individual freedoms and liberties that we've grown to basically take for granted here in America. So thank you so much for your service, sir. I appreciate it very much, as I'm sure our callers do as well. You know, the president has a big job. There is no question about that. It would be one thing if the president was making those trips while he was out supporting private sector growth and bringing jobs here at home. You know, this president cannot run for re-election on his record of pro-economic growth, and so he's going to resort to tactics of envy and division. He's going to try to make the election about things like contraception and same-sex marriage, and I dare say that many of us have very strong positions on those issues, but the real issue that Americans are most concerned about is our lack of jobs, the mounting debt, over $15 trillion. This president, with his extravagant spending, out of control spending, has run the debt up another $5 trillion under his administration alone. So we have passed numerous pieces of legislation designed to rein in the president's ability to spend money. Unfortunately, that sits over in the Senate, stacked up like cordwood. You probably have heard on the news, the Senate of the United States has not passed a budget in nearly 3 years. Now, sir, you and I come from a background in the military. If we didn't do our job in the military, we'd be court-martialed. And I think if Harry Reid, the majority leader in the Senate, if he were in the military, he'd be sitting in a cell at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas right now for failure to perform, because he's not doing his job. And I think it's irresponsible what has happened. We, the House of Representatives, since I got here in January of 2011, we've passed over 30 job-creating pieces of legislation. We've passed 2 budgets, and we have voted to repeal the president's health care law, either all or in part, at least 26 times. A piece of legislation that I introduced not too long ago that some of you might find some interest in, it's called the Pass a Budget Now Act. You know, both chambers of Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives, are required to pass a budget by April 15th of every year. My piece of legislation, the Pass a Budget Now Act, says that whichever chamber does not pass a budget by April 15th as required by law, starting on April 16th, the members of that chamber do not get paid. We should not be paying elected officials, senators, and congressmen and women to come to Washington and just sit and occupy an office. They are sent here to do a job, and by golly, they ought to be forced to do their job or they shouldn't get paid. And under my piece of legislation, the money that they forfeit from their salary would not be reimbursed to them once they pass a budget. It would be forfeited for good, and it would go toward paying down the national debt. So, you know, I think that would have a tremendous impact on those members to make sure that they do what the American people sent them here to do.